A claymore is the Scottish variant of the late medieval two-handed longsword. It is characterised as having a cross hilt of forward-sloping quillons with quatrefoil terminations. It was in use from the 15th to 17th centuries. The claymore is famous for being used by William Wallace, a Scottish knight during the First War of Scottish Independence. Terminology: the term claymore is an anglicisation of the Gaelic claidheamh-mòr, a great sword, first attested in 1772 with a gloss great two-handed sword. The sense basket hilted sword is contemporaneous, attested in 1773 as the broadsword now used. Called the claymore. OED observes that the latter usage is inexact, but very common. The 1911 Encyclopaedia Britannica likewise judged that the term is wrongly applied to the basket-hilted sword. Authors arguing that the basket-hilted sword is incorrectly called claymore have been known to suggest that ckleɪmɔər should be used instead. This does not parallel Scottish Gaelic usage. According to the Gaelic dictionary by R. A. Armstrong, claidheamh-mòr translates to broadsword, and claidheamh-mòr to two-handed sword, while claidheamh-mòr is given as a translation of bilbo. The term claymore became part of vocabulary of the Victorian-era sentimental or romanticist retro-Jacobite literature and poetry such as the Skye Boat Song. Other contemporary Gaelic descriptives of swords include claidheamh-mòr to the first eel or back sword, referring to a single-edged sword with a flat spine, the claidheamh-mòr crooked sword, which could describe either a typical sabre-style blade or a scimitar-style blade known as a terminations such as that brandished by Alistair Mòr, the champion of Clan Grant, in the c. 1715 portrait by weight, or the claidheamh-mòr or narrow sword, usually describing a rapier or small sword. The term ckleɪmɔər, purportedly from Scots Gaelic claidheamh-mòr meaning little sword, is not seen in Clan-era Gaelic song or poetry, dwellers, ibid, or other authorities, and seems to be a fairly recent invention. Two-handed claymore. The two-handed claymore was a large sword used in the late medieval and early modern periods. It was used in the constant clan warfare and border fights with the English from circa 1400 to 1700. Although claymores existed as far back as the Wars of Scottish Independence, they were smaller and few had the typical quatrefoil design. The last known battle in which it is considered to have been used in a significant number was the Battle of Killiecrankie in 1689. It was somewhat longer than other two-handed swords of the era. The two-handed claymore seems to be an offshoot of early Scottish medieval longswords which had developed a distinctive style of a cross-hilt with forward-angled arms that ended in spatulate swellings. The lobed pommels on earlier swords were inspired by the Viking style. The spatulate swellings were later frequently made in a quatrefoil design. The average claymore ran about 140 cm in overall length, with a 33 cm grip, 107 cm blade, and a weight of approximately 5.5 lb. Fairly uniform in style, the sword was set with a wheel pommel often capped by a crescent-shaped nut and a guard with straight, forward-sloping arms ending in quatrefoils, and langets running down the center of the blade from the guard. Another common style of two-handed claymore was the clamshell hilted claymore. It had a crossguard that consisted of two downward curving arms and two large, round, concave plates that protected the foregrip. It was so named because the round guards resembled an open clam. The largest claymore on record is a sword measuring 7 feet 6 inches and weighing 23 pounds. The claymore was wielded by a 15th-century Scottish giant of unknown name and origin, though the individual is believed to have been a member of the Maxwell clan. See also, Historical fencing in Scotland, notes. References and further reading, Claude Blair, The Word Claymore and David H. Caldwell, Scottish Weapons and Fortifications, 378-387, David H. Caldwell, The Scottish Armoury, 24-26, Fergus Cannan, Scottish Arms and Armour, 29-31, 79, 82, Tobias Capel, The Real Fighting Stuff, Arms and Armour at Glasgow Museums, 84, Ross Cowan, Weapon of Deeds, The Two-Handed Scottish Highland Sword, Medieval Warfare 1.3, 24-25, Ross Cowan, Leads of Battle, Military History Monthly 32, 47-48, G. A. Hayes McCoy, 16th century swords found in Ireland, Journal of the Royal Society of Antiquaries of Ireland 78, 38-54, J. G. Mann, A Late Medieval Sword from Ireland, Antiquaries Journal 24, 94-99, Dweller's Illustrated Gaelic to English Dictionary, A Chisholm, Hugh, ed. Claymore. Encyclopædia Britannica 6. Cambridge University Press. PA 474. External links, Scottish hand and a half and two-handed swords, two-handed Highland swords in the collections of Glasgow Museums, the National Museum of Scotland, and the British Museum. Scottish two-handed swords with clamshell guards in Kelvingrove, the National Museum of Scotland and Dean Castle. Scottish swords image resource.